guys, this is Attorney Walter Rudolph III. A lot of you know me, but what's unique with this particular video and the set of videos that are coming up is that there's no backdrop that you guys are used to with disability resolution and spaceconstitution.com. The reason for that is that I am not in Florida. I'm not going to be for basically 2 weeks. And what's happening is I went up to the horse farm that I grew up on, used to be a vineyard, 2493 Belvedere Road, Phillipsburg, New Jersey, 08865. And I'm basically working on the property to go ahead and fix it up, get it all put together so that it can be sold. It's the family farm that's going to be sold. And the idea is that essentially I'm painting things and pressure washing things, etc. So while I'm up here, I don't have regular internet, so I have to keep the videos short so that I can at least download them and upload them into the different video platforms. Let's get right to it. First thing you need to know is that I had a question that I wasn't totally sure how to answer, and I wanted to get your input on it. And sometimes you guys will actually change my mind based on the comments you leave. Like one of the things I'm teetering on is SSI a welfare program? Is it not? Technically, SSI is basically phrased as a welfare program under the Social Security Administration's website. But still, to me, the severe requirements to be a part of it, to me, it's not a traditional welfare program. But I keep going back and forth on that particular thing because of the comments you guys are leaving. So I want to do an update video on that. But here's the thing I want to work on with this video. What is the most severe disability? Okay, so here's the thing. And the videos have to be short. At first, I thought it was being blind, right? Because in Social Security disability law, we have mental impairments, physical impairments, and then a separate category just for blind, in which case they basically get a better deal when it comes to some of the options they have when receiving benefits, okay? Then I realized that's impossible because there are things far worse than being blind. For example, stage 4 cancer, where you have a date on your head. For example, something where you're going to die from it, or you at least know when you're going to die from it. And then I started to realize, maybe there's something even worse than that. And what I came to the conclusion was, what if your, impairment creates a situation where you never know when you're going to die, but it's one of those things where you could die pretty much at any moment, like suicide, where you then choose at that moment, boom, I want to kill myself. And that phrasing, that mental health limitation is so important that we study it. It's so important that we think about it and work with mental cases and kind of review what's going on there to see why they just don't want to be on this earth anymore. And the whole point of this thing is that I started to realize, wait, no. Suicide can't be the most severe impairment. It can't, because there's something even beyond that, which is homicidal impairments, meaning those who want to kill somebody else. When you take the life of somebody else, it, in my opinion, is like the highest disabling condition, because you are essentially, you're think of it this way, you're starving somebody for air, in the sense of they're drowning because you drown them, and that's just, whoa, you know what I mean? Like that's the equivalent. If you were to take somebody's life one way or another way, if you were to, poison them or whatever horrible thing that could be done. And I want you to think about this because this is important as an analytical study. If you essentially look at that, everything is kind of like the most horrific way it could be done, in the sense of you doing to them without their permission, right? Because if you could be drowning them, you could give them poison, you could harm them with trauma to the body, whether it's like a knife or an axe or a bullet or whatever. That's what that is. And then I started to realize, is there something beyond that? The taking of somebody else's life that could be the most severe disabling condition. And then I started to realize maybe the combination of homicidal tendencies and suicidal. And what I realized from that was that Hollywood uses this all the time. You'll see it, a quasi version in some of the old plays, the Romeo and Juliet's, modern Star Wars, you'll see that stuff. You'll see it all over the place. It's something that is the most emotion provoking, and therefore Hollywood uses it all the time. And that's when I started to realize, like, Hollywood, on their big chart, and if you look it up, chart of emotions, chart of feelings, they've got everything mapped out, right, on every type of emotion, every type of feeling that you could potentially have. And as a result of that, they've got a system, a mathematical system to make your brain like that movie. And what I realized was that the most horrific thing that you could imagine somebody doing, which would be homicidal tendency. And we're not talking about where they're trying to defend themselves and then they kill the other person, while trying to prevent serious bodily harm or serious death, etc. We're talking about homicidal people with suicidal tendencies. Because what you do then is you have a person who takes somebody else's life, right? And that's horrible. And then strips everybody else the opportunity to have justice right? Because then that person who took that person's life commits suicide. And that to me was what I landed on. And maybe I could be wrong. Guys, collectively, you have more experience and knowledge in life than I do. Think of ideas here. And the point is, collectively, you can figure out essentially what the most severe impairment could be. And I think we need to look at these impairments and start to realize, okay, well, where are things on the spectrum? Who is suffering the most? And we need to look at basically what number of people are suffering, what funding is going to that, which nonprofits are helpful, which nonprofits are not helpful. That's too big for this video, obviously, and I have to keep it short, but just think about that. The most severe disabling conditions are used in movies all the time because of what it evokes from us. And the crazy thing about it is, it took me, I don't know, a week to think through this. Because at first I was like, oh, it's blind people, because the special category. And then I was like, no, it's suicidal, because you never know when they're going to die and when they're going to take their life. And I was like, homicidal. And then homicidal, suicidal. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you a little bit later. Please remember to like, subscribe, and leave 5 stars. I hope you're doing well. Remember, we go live 8 to 10 every Thursday. So if you have a question about what I produce on YouTube, like content, things like that, if you're already receiving disability benefits, please don't call the law firm tonight from 9 to 5. The bottom line is this: we get overloaded with people just asking us questions that are already on disability benefits or already have an attorney. 9 to 5, I work at a law firm. This is not my job. This YouTube thing is not my job. So bottom line is, what I would like you to do is catch up with me 8 to 10 every Thursday when I go live. I hope all's well. I'll catch you a little bit later. Attorney Walter Rudolph, not the third, and we'll go from there. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.